government-suppressed free energy source, the electric great white. Electrogenesis may be utilized by fish for electrolocation, electrocommunication, or just to fry their fellow sea creatures to eat. The shark decides to nourish herself on the local fauna, for this place can't be won on an empty stomach. Another foe of liberty has fallen. Manhattan Project graduate, the Shadow Orca. Is all table salt iodized? I don't know, but perhaps the Shadow Orca has something to do with it. Someone has recognized the Orca's genocidal intentions towards America. Project Sunshine side effect, the bone sperm whale. I don't recommend eating bone sperm whale if you've had any recent dental bridge work. Castle Bravo survivor, the irradiated bone sperm whale. The picture's becoming more clear that the sperm whales want to kill all Americans so they can occupy the world. Getting wounded is bad for cellular health. That's why it's so important to add selenium to your diet. Give your body a cell-building boost with Seleni Young, only from Survival. Sleep support? Fall asleep fast with Amber Sleep Ambergrease Essential Oil. Spritz a little on your pillow and drift away with the soothingly fecal odor of this prized intestinal secretion only from Survival Life. Uranium-235 test subject, the Irradiated Shadow Orca. These orcas clearly are united with North Korea to undermine Western interests. A source close to the Army Corps of Engineers informs me that the group has been involved in a purposely directed Gulf depopulation program for years. Apropos of nothing, I'd just like to say that the Warren Commission was a total farce. the shark cries out, "Enough of the lies and deceit!" In the event of a global crisis, will you have enough fettuccine Alfredo? Prepper Pasta's 5-gallon Alburro bucket comes with 60 servings of that reliable home-cooked favorite, just like Mama used to make. In an emergency survival situation, experts recommend a diet rich in white carbs and cream-based sauces. So stock up on this ready-to-ship food kit today. Regarding these spills, I'm proposing complicity on the part of Mayor Wade Hibbert. You see, Hibbert owns 50 shares in Schlumberger, who's owned by Hexaco, or partners with Saxwell Gold in Varkar, the manufacturer of oil dispersant emulsifiers. Therefore, Hibbert made money on the deal. Our Valley Forge world, and only this shark is answering the call of duty. Atomic Energy Commission project, the Irradiated Electric Great White. When radioactive particles pass through skin, they change creatures' DNA, resulting in superpowers such as electricity manipulation. That or leukemia. Radio-equipped electrode implanted in the Great White's limbic system. An insectoid-designed stimoceiver. The beast of the bottomless pit, Moloch. everything is energy, even physical matter. So maybe, if we all focus our minds on the destruction of this unholy weapon, it will happen. The insectoids, it seems, have allies even within the underwater domain. Like heroic Neo, the shark has freed us from the Matrix. Now, we can unplug from the metal coils that once enslaved us, leave our mechanical caves, and greet this new dawn of truth. It's been 90 days since my last Truth Quest broadcast. I'm sure a lot of you are wondering where I've been. Well, for the past year or so, I've been partaking daily of ayahuasca. In fact, the very concept of Truth Quest came to me during a powerful vision. It was during my last vidcast that I experienced what my wife described as a psychotic break. The next day, she and my son Stephen staged a family intervention. Well, I'm happy to report that since then, I've filed for divorce. Now I have time to dedicate myself to my true calling. Questers, we know that reality is just a mirage. Somewhere through the crack between time and space, great cosmic truths remain, still awaiting discovery. These are the obscure and unmarked points along the road of our Truth Quest.